No, 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 you can, because I have a mic here. You'll see our mics move up, but it's just not there.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can do that now.
I love the renovations. They're sick.
Yeah, they actually are.
Is the same person did the artwork, or is it a different person? I gotta ask.
I think it's a different person.
Yeah, the Wolverine and the Storm in the bathrooms. I was like, oh, this is sick.
Episode 93. Good morning, y'all. What is up? Episode 93 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. Across the table,
Morning.
co-host, and our guest, none other than HippyJump.
Ooh, what's up?
Join us. We are live, Twitch, YouTube, Silverback Senpai. Find us there. Episode 93, South Florida Gamers Podcast. We'll see you.
Damn, that was quick. Let's see, how do I do this again? Good morning, my dudes. It's your boy Waluigi here, starting with the latest episode. Got the co-host with the most Silverback Senpai. And our latest guest, HippyJump.
Wow.
New place, new podcast episode, going down soon. Easy peasy, for once.
All right, I'm ready to go.
Yep. I just did it nonchalantly, okay.
Oh, I got a message saying no screen. Let me check Twitch. Oh, there's a screen. All right, ready. In 3, 2, 1. Put this on me. Hit this and hit this. Good morning, everybody. What is going on? We're back again with another episode of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. This time back in the arcade. The renovations are still underway, but we're still able to use the space for today and for the remaining time that the arcade is still open. So, hey, we're back. And across the table from me is none other than co-host Luigi.
Good morning, my dudes. Wow, still waking up, but glad to be back. New renovations, new episode, new guest.
Absolutely, and our guest is none other than HippyJump.
Good morning, guys. It's your boy HippyJump, aka Chris or Christian.
Wait, we got an echo. I know where it is.
Oh, wow. Good to have some recovery.
Yes, yeah, I know. I just have to mute some cameras.
Yeah, as you see, we do everything live, like right on the spot.
That's kind of sick, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, authenticity.
All right, we should be good. Sensei Raphael, just let us know if we're still echoing.
Thanks for the input, definitely.
Thank you. I mean, earlier we get it out, the better. So, episode 93, just 7 more to episode 100.
Oh my.
I know, 7 more. So, without further ado, before we get in with our guests, I just want to say a big thank you and a big shout out to all of our all of our followers and all of our supporters that supported the Southward Gamers podcast throughout the years. As you guys have seen us continuously grow throughout the time, and we get better each and every time. We always try to make improvements and whatnot. Shout out to those that also follow us on the socials as well, and of course, sharing the content that we put out, and then of course engaging with it. That definitely helps. And hey, if you are a new viewer or a new listener, by all means, share the podcast, let the people know about us. And hey, our mission is just pretty much, hey, we want to get your story. Hell. So we don't make the podcast mostly about us. We make it about you, the
like
gamer.
This guy over here right now.
Absolutely. And we're going to get right into it. So, Hippy, we have a tradition that we do on the podcast, and that is that we want to get people's backstory, like what got them into gaming. Start us off with your origin story on how you became a gamer.
Oh, wow. Okay. Origin story. So, the very beginning, probably about 6 or 7 years old, my mom bought me a PlayStation. I'm a big PlayStation kid. Started with the PS1. I think my first game was like Namco Entertainment, something like that. It was like a pack where.
Oh,
yeah.
Remember when you had the Galaga,
Yes.
Dig Dug,
all those arcade games in one.
yeah, Pac-Man Frogger, all that stuff. I would play that, and then I'm trying to remember all the PlayStation games I got. I would play like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, stuff like that.
Oh,
I really
well.
like RPG stuff like that. And then PlayStation 2, that was like my big. I love gaming because we got the PlayStation 2 and it came with a pack of a game I love to this day called Jack and Dexter.
Yes,
Oh,
that is the best.
That's a cult classic, literally, on PlayStation.
That is the best game series of all time, and it's a shame that Naughty Dog doesn't bring that game back, even though many of us fans are
Begging for it.
What are you talking about? We got The Last of Us 5 different times.
Remastered too.
Anyway. Continue.
So yeah, we played Jack and Dexter. I played 1, 2, 3, X Racing, and then I think the Impact game was. I didn't play Lost Frontier. We don't talk about that game.
Understandable.
Oh man, yeah, I heard about Lost Frontier. It was like way at the end of the PS2's life cycle. I think everybody at that time just moved on to the PS3, and I was like, why did you come out? Like, because with Jack and Daxter 1, 2, and 3, like, okay, you got the complete story, and then you have like I would say Jack X was like kind of like a side story.
Yeah.
Spin-off.
Yeah, so with Frontier coming out, I'm just like, why?
They could have waited, if anything.
It didn't have any advertisements either. If you
No.
watch,
Yeah, it really did.
There wasn't anything.
we had commercials for Jack 1, 2. I don't know if you remember, like way back in the day. They actually had it like on like TV, and then this one it was like, this exists. I saw it at Walmart. I was like,
And you just see it at a GameStop randomly. It's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, it was so weird. So weird.
but yeah, I would play like RPG games like that, Kingdom Hearts. I didn't get into the Final Fantasy games, even though like I knew about them.
Respectable.
Yeah, and then fighting games. I think for the PS1, I had like Tekken, Soul Calibur.
I feel like that had to be one or two of the main people that played it besides Street Fighter. Like Soul Blade and then Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
I love Soul Calibur.
Soul Blade was PS1, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Soul Blade, yeah.
That was like the prequel of Soul Calibur. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting story, but not important now.
And as far as like the fighting games, like I would play that, and then we'd play like Dragon Ball Z games. Budokai, I had 1, 2, 3.
Ultimate Tenkaichi, I'm guessing.
Tenkaichi, I couldn't really play that well, but I loved it because it had so many characters and like the story was really good. And I'm like, great, I get to play the Dragon Ball story for the 90th time. Like
Literally.
I think my favorite was like Budokai 2.
Budokai 2?
Yes.
It's good. Mechanic wise, it's the best, but like overall, it's 3 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respectable.
Because you had the open world and you can do like missions and stuff. And
Yeah, that was the best part about it because I didn't get to play Budokai 1, but I started off with Budokai 2, and you had the little like you would just the little like the board game thingy that
While the loading screen kicks in.
yeah, like you're just like bouncing around in Budokai 2. Still, I enjoyed the game, and then Budokai 3 comes out, and then they show us hey, you can fly around or whatnot. I was like, oh, this is the best shit ever.
That's true. I just like 2 for that whole board game concept.
It was a very interesting time back then, but
It was for especially like.
but we saw the
anime
vision
fans.
though. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
And as far as like Smash goes, my first game was Melee,
Ooh.
and I played Link, and then Brawl I played Pit, and Smash 4 I mean Luigi, but I didn't start like competitively playing till like the tail end of Smash 4.
Ah, that's actually interesting to hear.
I was gonna main Luigi, but he's so different from 4, I couldn't do it. So
That sounds like really unbearable.
yeah, they changed a lot of his like mechanics and stuff. I didn't like it.
Okay.
And then what got you into Smash Ultimate?
Yeah, so from Smash 4, I saw like the trailer for it, and I love it. Everyone's here, all the characters.
Yeah, that was a dope intro.
All the DLC like drops and stuff, and then I went to my first tournament in Boca, and I played this really good Peach player in like maybe semis, and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty good. Little did I know it was a Peach player called Sam Sora, one of the best Peaches in the world. Just happened to live. Everybody who's good at Smash Bros. Just happens to live in South Florida. Like our region's really strong.
Yeah, I've learned about that for the past few years.
But yeah, anywhere you go, it's just like if you're not like in this region, like any other region's a lot weaker than us. Like we're one of the stronger regions for Smash Bros. I think.
Okay. And as you competed in Smash, what were some of the things that you can look back to as, okay, you know what? I'm glad that I'm competing in this game. Like, what moments during your journey as you compete in Smash Ultimate that just stands out to you?
Like favorite moment?
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, first moment definitely like when I came to Flynn's and I competed with my boy Joy-Con, who's like, yeah, shout out to Joy-Con. Got me into like taking the game kind of serious and competing and going every week. And when I had my character crisis, because I played K-Roll at the start.
Wow.
And
That was not expecting when we were talking about this earlier. I didn't want to know until now. I was not expecting that, actually.
yeah, K-Roll was really good in the game when it first came out. And I told you I like really silly characters, like
Yeah.
trolley type. So it was K-Roll, and then I realized competitively he's not the best. I was like, I could play a better character. So I was kind of juggling that and Belmont. Like I was his owner. I was like, okay. But I was like, I want to have more fun. Let me see. I want a big boy, silly, good recovery, heavy. And I was like, Wario checks all the boxes. I was like, motorcycle? I'm sold, like. So I picked up Wario and then just been grinding him even through the nerfs. He got nerfed like 3 months after I picked him up, and I was like, oh, it's not that big deal. And then maybe competing 2 weeks after, I was like, oh,
This is a big deal.
his up tilt doesn't work anymore. This confirm that I had could kill people at 40. I can't do it anymore. I have to use my brain and think of how to land, confirms and stuff like that. So I've just been sticking with the Wario for like a while.
Yeah, Wario is an interesting character in general, actually, the more you think about it.
Yeah, insane frame data, good air drift. Your plan, well, at least my plan, is just like you have waft and it's charging. It's like a fart, right?
Yeah.
So they know you're charging waft, so like you don't have to approach them. You're like, all right, I'm gonna stand here and eat, some hot fries and chips and look at you and be like, okay, so you want to die at 30% or you want to approach me? Like he forces approaches by just existing, and I
By
love
just
it.
standing there menacingly.
Yeah, and I love that fact of like I don't have to go in and like chase you down. I could like just, I'm gonna go in and then drift back, and he literally starts from like here, drifts here, your face, you swing, he's already back to where he was, and then he punishes you. Which is,
Oh, so it's a mind game on neutral.
yeah, he's a real good bait punish character.
That's funny, actually. I was not expecting a character like that to actually have that type of neutral.
His neutral is like really tricky for me because I like, in your face, rush down kind of characters, and the longer I played him, I was like, it's better to just pretend like I'm gonna go in, wait, and then when they throw something out, punish every single time, like a bullfly, like
That has to be the best feeling.
He's so fun to play. Like it's so many mind games and stuff like that I really like his type of play. Another moment that stands out, like probably my first PR win against Riku. Yeah, he wasn't playing Steve because Steve was banned at the time, but I was pretty proud of it because I was like, oh, I can beat PR players. Like, I have a full-time job, working 40 hours, you know, a wife, girlfriend at the time, and a dog. And I'm just like, I can, you know, compete with these kids that grind the game or, you know, don't have as many responsibilities and, you know, compete.
Hell yeah. Anybody can cook no matter the circumstance. It's just if they want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, me, you know, when I first met HippyJump, I think it was when we were running tournaments outside of Flynn's at that time and whatnot. And you know, it was very interesting. Like I think we didn't connect at that time, but it was just like over time, it just slowly, just you know, gradually got there and whatnot. As I got to know more people, you know, in the Smash community here in South Florida, and yeah, Hippie's like one of the players like. He may not be PR, but it's like he's like a shadow PR, as some would say. Like he's there. Like if he really wanted to, you know, compete seriously and really go for PR, then it's like yeah, he knows he can.
That's kind of the plan this year. Like, see, I'm at that point. Like you said, I could be PR. Like I'm in contention of like, you know, a couple months if I really grind it out and like try and, you know, play a lot. But I'm like, I don't know. What's stopping me from like wanting to like make the plunge and like super commit myself is like when you get really into this game. And I don't know if you've seen this. You've seen this a couple of times.
Yeah.
Players who are super into this game and grind super hard, they get mad. Like if you lose or like you get toxic. This game is super toxic.
Yes, it is.
And the fact that it just doesn't work sometimes. The stuff you practice like 100 times. The 101 time the game's like, oh, actually we're gonna do this instead, and I'm like, I spaced this the same way every single time, and it's like, well, this time it's not gonna work, and I'm just like, it's a very frustrating game.
That's mental damage on its own.
Yeah,
It is, and I've seen it so many countless times. Whether it's PR players or non-PR players, I've seen it so much over the years. It's just like you can make a movie out of that, literally. You can make a movie out of all the people who get mad due to their placing, due to their seating. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it all. I've seen it happen, and it's just one of those things as a fighting game competitor where it's just, yeah, you can lab a lot, but there's just gonna be that one instance where you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
like you're always gonna have the expectation of. You may end up losing this, and then now you have to go back to the drawing board. Like, what did I do differently? What did I do wrong? Is there a VOD I can see of this to where I can analyze, okay, this is where I screwed up at. This is where, okay, I kind of messed up at, or I did not control my impulses, and I just did this when I'm supposed to be like, nope, play it safe. Nope, you just go with your impulse. Everyone has impulses when they play 100%. Fighting games.
100%.
And that could be the time where you end up losing, and you're just like, but I practice, I lab this, I should know this matchup, and then you just choke. It happens, and it's not the end of the world because if anything, you're able to come back. Now, if this was at a major tournament event, okay, I can, I can understand the frustration.
Yeah,
that you were you were so close, and that has happened to me before when it came to Def Jam Fight for New York. Like,
yes, it has.
You get so close, you know this matchup, everything's in your favor, and then towards the end, you didn't win, and it sucks. It is a terrible feeling. And yeah, you get mad and you end up storming off, or you end up throwing a controller on the ground or whatnot, or you just walk outside and you start, you know, shouting all types of obscenities or whatnot.
If you just see the chat right now, they brought it back up. Long story short, what happened in CEO was it last year or 2 years ago?
I think it was not last year, 2022.
Oh yeah, 2 years ago. So long story short, Herbs, my leader, went against Nagoriyuki with a inch of health left, was holding down block, but it looked like he was trying to teabag intentionally. And he hates the Nago matchup, so he was teabagging anyways, holding the block. But Nago has a super that when he's in his blood rage mode, it will go full screen, wipe his ass out of existence, and you just see him take off his hat and just go like, why? And that was like one of the most iconic CEO instances because this man people tried to cancel this man and started roasting him. But Herbs, he did not give a fuck at all.
That man did not give no fucks about that.
Yeah, we're a team that does not care about anything.
I mean, yeah, when you're at a big event, you just put all this pressure on yourself to do good and results, and when that doesn't happen, like, you know, you get mad. You're just like, am I practicing for nothing? Am I?
Oh
you
no,
know?
no! Like he just did. Like that was like one of those unreactable incidents. Is what
Oh, yeah.
exactly happened. Like we all looked at each other. I was laughing because I'm like, yeah, he's gonna get canceled this week. But then he just decides to tweet, "I'm the Jocko with the biggest nuts."
I was gonna say, because the chat was talking about outside Flins, and you mentioned
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
When it was outside, like that's like one of my favorite memories. Just like because it was so much people would show up every week, 35 plus.
Outside, literally.
Yeah, cold, hot, raining. We're playing out there, grinding. And speaking of like people getting mad, I had a pretty memorable story of like a dude named Disco Dude who plays Joker.
He sounds familiar.
So he's nice. He's a really nice guy. I'm not bashing him at all.
No.
it's
I
one of
just
those-
remembered the name actually.
Yeah, Disco Dude. He, I think he got timed out game 1 by somebody. I don't remember who it was. I heard time, and I was like, okay. And then game 2, he lost. I saw him throw his controller, and then I just heard a really loud crash. I was like, shh, and I was like, what was that? And I look over, and it's a beer bottle that he broke on. I don't know if on the table, on the floor, and his whole hand was bleeding. Like
I remember that.
Pretty
Oh
bad.
my god! I think you were the one that told me about this.
Yeah.
I asked him like, "How's your night going?" He's like, "Yeah, I had to stop a man's hand from bleeding."
Yeah, he needed like 7 stitches. It was bad. But he apologized, and I think he bought everybody pizza like the 2 weeks after he got like unbanned.
Yeah.
So you know, he's like, yeah, I know I messed up, and you know, I think that's pretty cool to like realize that you
Yeah.
get mad and you're like, I'm sorry.
Accountability at its finest.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, because for me, everyone, deserves a second chance. Like, yeah, there's gonna be a time where you do something completely outlandish, and I don't want to be that one person and be like, okay, you do something completely outlandish, like I'm gonna ban you for life, like this. Like I've had people DM me when that incident happened. I had people DM me saying that I should ban him or whatnot from the venue. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. If anything, I'm just like, I even messaged him, personally, like, bro, take 2 weeks off. Take 2 weeks off. And I checked in on him as well throughout the 2 weeks, like, hey, how are you doing? Is your hand doing better and whatnot? And I stayed in touch with him, and welcomed him back in and whatnot. And there was no problems, no issues. And, everyone deserves a second chance if they screw up that badly. I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to be that person to where I'm gonna be very authoritarian and just like completely not exclude you from the community and whatnot because you just messed up at one time because you had a bad game. I'm not gonna do that. Mm-hmm. Everyone deserves a second chance. And with that incident, yeah, it was pretty it was pretty graphic or whatnot because there was blood and whatnot everywhere, and there were people freaking out, but I acted quick, tend to his hand and his wound or whatnot. And we just hey, let's continue on with the show, and I'll handle everything from here afterwards. And yeah, that's exactly what I did. And fast forward now, he's in a better place. I know he's not in the Smash community competitively as he was back then, but he's in a good place now, and I'm happy for him. So
that's good to hear.
Good that he got a Smash Bros. Get out while you can, like that scene from Get Out where she's like shaking, you're like, get out. Game is toxic, man. Like especially nowadays with all the character, like the meta game is like Steve, Kazuya.
I thought it was more toxic outside of Smash than it is within Smash.
It's mainly the shit talking too, especially
Yeah.
on like Twitter and like stuff like that. Our community is just more like we're gonna do Twitters and Twitlongers about this person instead of just like talking to them.
Oh my
or
god,
grinding them
I
out.
read like one of those Twitlongers. It was 3 pages long. I'm like, I'm never gonna read a Twitlonger ever again because of this.
Yeah, Smash was very controversial, especially like within the past like 2 years and stuff.
During pandemic, it was just like what the Smash Gates is what they called it.
Yeah, the summer of. I
2019.
don't know if you want to. I don't know if you
or
want to talk about that. That's those spicy topics right there. A lot of players got banned for
Yeah.
underage stuff, and
I completely did that. I just brought that memory back up out of randomness, not even intentional.
I just feel like because we play a game that like also like the younger generation like plays too.
Yes.
And if you're going out to those big tournaments and stuff and you're partying, like you're not checking IDs. You're like, this girl looks, 17, 18, 19. You're not going to ask her, hey, let me see your ID before I give you this beer and hang out with you, right? But like I feel like as we're the older ones, you know, the 25 plus, it's on us to like
Look
check
out.
and you look out for each other and stuff, and they just weren't doing that. As far as like,
That is
the owners and
unfortunate to
stuff.
hear.
Yeah, because you never know if you get into an incident where something really bad happens, and all of a sudden people are gonna look to blame the people who are involved and be like, oh, why you didn't do anything? And it's just like, bro, I didn't even know this was even going on. Like some people just don't have that social awareness to to actually see, okay, what's going on, or if there's certain people that should not be there at an event or at a gathering or whatnot, because something may happen, which is why it's usually best to, if you're gonna have like a social gathering or a event to where you're gonna have like a good number of people, make sure you check and verify who's actually coming, and if they're bringing certain people in, are you okay with them being in, or you be like, yo, you can't, you can't bring this person. Or whatnot. And it's nothing. It's not to be disrespectful towards the person. It's just more so of you want to make sure that the people who are coming are accountable people that's gonna hold themselves accountable.
Yeah, and also cancel culture exists.
Yes.
In the sense that like
Yes.
whatever like the younger kids, like teenagers, hear first is truth. It's not like let's do our research and
Or let's ask the person.
let's ask the person who it actually happened to. It's like, no, this person said you did this, or like this person, said you said this. It's true, 100%. And it's like that's never the case. You always have to
Yeah.
hear both sides.
Yeah, it's more of like a, what am I looking word? Lack of mental like awareness. It's just like, hey, this might be a bad idea, but I'm gonna say this anyways. Or just like people might believe me if I was believed by another person,
Yeah.
and
Speaking
it
of
could
which-
lead to a lot of chaos, sadly. And we've seen it for like the past 3 years throughout this
Yeah.
podcast,
2 years. Yeah.
and we've
Yeah.
seen like different people evolve from within that.
Yeah, and it's one of those for me. It's one of those lessons that I learned that I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
When I'm on Twitter, just
Yeah.
keep my mouth shut. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna talk about that. Nah.
You were in some pretty spicy, controversial stuff like a year ago.
No, it was
It was like 6 months, something like that.
No, it was back in 2022. 2022. I remember it.
They
and
were trying to
whatnot.
cancel my favorite TO.
They're trying to cancel my brother out of all people.
And you know what was funny? He was right. Whatever like that topic was, he
Yeah.
was correct. And
Yeah,
they were trying
I
to
knew.
cancel him for it. And I was like, he doubled down and he was right. And nobody apologized to him. They were just like, this guy, bad, burn him at the stake. And I'm just like, what?
And somebody not from
What?
Florida is just like, oh yeah, don't go to this TO. Like, you're not from Florida, stay in your lane.
No, he's always been a really good TO. I know he gets a lot of like complaints from like us with like the seating. And, oh, I played this person last week. Why do I have to play them again? And like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, you're gonna play them in losers in like 2 more rounds. You're gonna
it's
play them now or later. What is it?
It's
I don't know.
inevitable.
Yeah, you're never gonna please everybody. Especially like I feel for the TOs. They try to be people pleasers and they're like trying to organize it. It's hard. It looks hard.
It is so damn difficult. It is so difficult because of the fact that I understand. Hey, you don't want to play against certain people because you've recently played them or whatnot. But if there's not a lot of people, it's like, bro, what do y'all want me to do?
Right.
What do y'all want me to do? Like, if it's 20 or 25 people, and out of the 25, you have about 10 of them that don't want to play each other. Like, bro, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Y'all gonna end up playing each other regardless. I can't help that.
Right.
If it was like, 10 people having, they don't want to play certain people or whatnot, and it's out of 50 or 60 person bracket. Okay, I can easily work with that. But if it's like less than 30 or 20, and 10 of y'all are complaining, it's like, yo, you're gonna end up fighting certain people within the bracket. I can't help that.
Right.
Like, what do you want me to do? Because I can change it for one person. Now that other person's affected.
Yeah.
And when I change it for him, now that other person is affected. I change it for him. Now the first person that had a problem is now coming back to me and be like, yo, I'll change it. I'm like, I'm like, bro.
It's like, what can you do?
Yeah, you try your best. And
It's reasons why I stepped down as a TO for Smash. Like, I can't deal with that. That's why I just stick with the FGC, because at least they know and understand that, I'm going to end up fighting the same person each and every week or whatnot, but they don't give me a hard time with that. Because they see firsthand when I dealt with it with Smash, it was like, bro, that is just like. And then, of course, shout out to Beef Humanity, who always says the famous quote, "Who seeded this bracket?"
He's gonna look this later. He's just like, oh shit, not this again. Because that was still the funniest incident.
But yeah, it just gets to a point where I'm just like, bro, I cannot. There's just certain things.
8 people at an FGC local is a jackpot to me. Literally, as
Right, like some people, and it's like for some people who like for certain tournaments that don't get like a lot of people, if you have about like
God.
17, 18, 20 people show up, that's good. That's a good turnout. Like, be grateful for that. Like, hey, at least there's some, there's probably some new faces. There's probably people coming out and wanting to play or whatnot. And guess what? The tournament runs fast. We be done with it quickly. And guess
quick
what?
and painless. We all go home at a reasonable time.
Exactly. We go home at a reasonable time. And if you want to stay a little bit longer and play, casuals or friendlies after the bracket, you can do that and still go home, before the night. I'm getting tongue twisted. Before the night gets too late.
I know. I'm still laughing at how we did one tournament and ended at 2 a.m., but that was the funniest thing. With Strive, Street Fighter, and what was it, Grand Blue?
Yeah.
We were up till 2 a.m., but not many people were complaining.
Yeah.
And the OS was, it's too late. You signed up for this.
That, or we have multiple people that sign up for multiple tournaments, or another one, some people like coming in late, and I have to push the bracket time back.
Yeah. I'm a victim of that, but usually like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
As long as it's within a 5-minute range, I don't consider it that bad. But if it's over 10, 15, that's where it's concerning. But they really fucked up an online bracket. Holy shit.
Can I call some people out? Because that happens at Smash Bros.
Yes.
A lot.
By all means, the mic is
for
yours.
it.
Literally all the PR, not all the PR players, but like 80, like to 70% of them will hold up the bracket. I know they're coming from Miami. I know that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll waltz in at 8:30. I come in 8:05, and the TO's like, "Sorry, you're in losers. We DQ'd you." I'm like, "What is this? Like top player privilege? Like what's going on here?" And like I don't get that special treatment. So if you're good at the video
Oh
game,
my
you can show up late. Like that's how it works.
Yeah, Inspector Yoshi was saying something similar along the lines. Smash has a tendency to play favorites with some certain top players, and not everyone gets
The same treatment.
held to the same standard in the community.
Of course.
Wow, I was not expecting this to come back around.
So the same problems that happen here probably happen in like Guilty Gear Tekken.
Not often.
Not as much.
No, not often. Even with Street Fighter and what?
It's like my fault.
My fault.
You're good, homie. Things happen for a reason.
No, you get Nova. Like we were done before midnight. That's all I can ask for. Even though we have very limited setups and the space is still a work in progress. We were done before midnight. To me, that's all I want. Be done before midnight.
Friday was crazy how fast it ended at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, and I
Minus
was,
one.
Yeah, Friday, I'm setting everything up in here, right? Because I'm new to this. This was already set up. The stream setup was already set up the day before because I came in on Thursday to set everything up. But I couldn't touch nothing in here. So Friday, 7 o'clock, I arrive at Flynn's, and I'm just like, okay, I got to set a lot of shit up. Prior to that, Herbs, my second TO, my right-hand man, he's not able to make it, so I can't get a second stream set up anywhere or whatnot. So I was like, fuck, now I got to run everything on my own. Okay, so I'm running 3 tournaments
With one
by
stream.
myself.
With two of them being streamed, which is still pretty good.
Which 2 of them ended up on the stream, but one of them, Guilty Gear Stripe, was not on stream, and I was done with all 3 of them before midnight. That was my goal, and I was just like,
This
okay.
man said that not of the time. We function on TST or Tournament Standard Time, not Eastern Standard Time.
Tournament starts at 7:30. Show up at 8:30.
TST, we got to use that sometimes.
Tournament standard time.
When you least expect it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, back then when I was running Smash on a weekly basis or whatnot, like I would put this, all right, we're starting tournament at 7:30. I end up starting at like close to 8 o'clock because you have people still on their way coming up and whatnot. And of course you also have people DMing me like, hey, I'm on my way. I'm going to come after a little bit after 8 o'clock or whatnot. Hey, can I come in at 8:30 or whatnot? I'm like, bro, I'm starting the bracket at 8 o'clock.
You're going to accept your fate now.
Right.
Can you not DQ me into losers? I'm like, bro, are you serious? You want me to hold up bracket? You want me to hold your match all the way up until 8:30? Bro, the amount of things that I had to do for a lot of people to make sure that they have a good experience, because that's my ultimate goal, is to make sure that whoever's coming in, I don't care if you're PR, I don't care if you're like a bottom seed, like I want you to come in, have a good time, enjoy yourself, have a good tournament experience, and just and just chill and just have a good time. That's my primary goal. And I do take take it a little serious when some of your people do come in late. They kind of like ruin the experience for other people or whatnot, and that's something I don't want to do. And it's something that each and every then I have to enforce. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna have to DQ you down, because the fact that you're holding up bracket time and you're holding up like the progress, because I want to be done with it in a certain time, so that way when the bracket is done at a certain time, I don't have to go on Twitter to see that bracket took too long, tournament took too long.
That's got to be like the most like frustrating thing as a TO. Like, you do your best and you try, and week in, week out, tournament took too long, seating was bad. This guy DQ'd me even though I was 40 minutes late. I was like, did you just hear what you said? You were 40 minutes late. Like, that's not normal time the bracket starts.
It'd be funny if they get accepted, they get cooked, and then they're just like, damn, I can't use the OS that I showed up late.
I'll be honest, like I think like we do miss like him TOing our tournaments and stuff. Like it feels like he obviously stepped down and stuff, like to go do the FGC and stuff like that. But shout out to Saber keeping our monthlies and
Hell yeah.
And locals and just Smashing in general alive, because he helped run bracket last night, ran smooth. It's probably better to TO with two people. And, we just miss like the weeklies, because it feels like Smash kind of got put on the back burner basically. Because, we might get a monthly. Even last month, our monthly kind of got skipped for some other like function that was happening at Flynn's. But like, I just miss competing at Flynn's because it's one of my favorite locals and it's the closest to my house.
Understandable.
Yeah, and with that, as you said, like when I stepped down, what some people have not, noticed, or maybe they have, or maybe they didn't, but is the fact that when I stepped down as a TO for Smash, all of my creative ideas that I had went with it. It's like all my creative ideas, all my passion that went towards cultivating the Smash community, cultivating the relationships within the Smash community, all of that went when I bounced. And now it goes to the FGC, and they've seen what I've done, to the point where now we have all of our tournaments on one night rather than on separate days. Now, in the future, would I ever step back into running Smash again? Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not probably not with under one exception. The only way I'll come back to be a TO for Smash again is, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but I'm just going to say this. I do not want to deal with children. If you know what I mean by that, I don't want to deal with children. And I'm not talking about the people who are below the ages of 18. I'm not talking about the teenagers or whatnot, because if anything, they're more respectful than some of the people who are above the age of 18. More appreciative, more grateful. So the only way I'm going to come back to this is I don't have to deal with children. I don't want to deal with children.
Yeah,
that is my only exception. Until then, I'll stick with the FGC. I enjoy having my Saturdays off, so I'm big chilling.
Oh no, Joy-Con's response is actually golden. 'Cause that's realistic. Sometimes you can't change the mindset of somebody else, but time will.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But
And I have a feeling the next Smash game is gonna, yeah, it's gonna come out, eventually, maybe next year or the year after, and we'll see a resurgence of, whoever is left, honestly, at that point. But it'll bounce back up again.
Came back from the mental kindergarten at this point.
Can I ask you, because I think you had mentioned on Twitter that there was going to be like some announcements for Smash Bros. With Flynn's related, like there's like news for it for the month of February, or was I thinking of something else?
I think you were thinking of something else.
Okay. So it's going to stay a monthly, basically.
Yeah.
No Valentine's Day doubles. We're all lonely in this bitch. I'm kidding.
Yeah, because I already have like the roadmap charted out for for at least most of the year for 2024. But anything is subject to change. I know the summer's coming up. Maybe I am looking to looking into maybe doing it twice a month. Ooh. If Sabrick is down with that idea of doing Smash Ultimate, running Smash Ultimate at Flint's twice a month, especially around the summertime, because that's where a lot of people are more active and wanting to go out. So that is something I'm gonna look into. So.
Ooh, Unga Bunga Incorporated. Actually, it's like, aren't man children a main audience of competitive Smash?
Bi-weeklies would be really cool, though. I would love that idea. At least like to have 2 instead of the 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so potential more players come in certain times, or some people can't make it one day, they can try another.
Yeah.
It's convenience.
Yeah. All right, so enough of Smash. I want to know about what are your favorite gaming genres?
Okay. RPG, like I've been saying, played Pac-Man, Kingdom Hearts, all that stuff.
Wait, did you play Pac-Man World?
Pac-Man World 2.
You poor soul.
It was such a good game.
It was, but then when you grow up and realize, it's like, damn.
Why was this Pac-Man different from the other one?
I think the first one was kind of baddish.
Yeah, but 2 was amazing.
Yeah, because the fact you can play the older Pac-Mans within it.
Fighting games, of course, that's got to be on my top. I do like, the party games, Smash Bros. I like Mario Party, of course. Oh, did I say Mario Party? You like that?
Oh, no, the party games like Smash.
It's a party game.
I call it a competitive party game.
Yeah, I could see it.
I just like offending people.
It's not a traditional, 2D, fighter game. It's, it's a spacing game pretty much.
It's a platformer.
Yeah.
With extra steps.
Exactly. Yeah, so fighting. I suck at shooters. I wish I was good at shooters. Otherwise, I would say Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty in the sense that zombies was really cool, but online I sucked. I would always say I'm not a good first-person shooter game. Yeah, and puzzle games recently I've been getting
puzzle
into.
games.
My first puzzle game recently was Catherine. I hated it at first because you had to build blocks and I hated it, right? But once I learned how to get good at building, it was more fun because I really liked the story for that game so much that I didn't care about the puzzles.
Have you seen the competitive scene of Catherine?
There's a competitive scene for
yes,
Catherine.
There is.
It's speed building kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, first one gets to the top, it's a best of 3. I think it's either a first of 3 or a best out of 3.
Huh.
But it is insane. I tried doing it casually. It's insane. I didn't know what I was doing, but if you follow the other person wins, the obvious rules, it's 2 players.
Right.
And you have your options of switching your characters. It's very unique, but it's in phases of EVO or some tournaments like that, or some big majors. It's a good side tournament.
I would run if they had a Catherine bracket here, or even
we
a
had
Fall
a guy,
Guys kind of thing.
We had a guy a while back, but unfortunately, not many people wanted to join that scene.
It's not as popular for Atlas for that game as Persona is. It kind of overshadows it. Persona 5.
But yeah, watching those builds are crazy.
Yeah, and it's just you have to use your brain, and you can't just auto build certain patterns. There's certain patterns
because you will either fall to your death or be in last place.
Yeah.
It's just wow.
Phenomenal game. Yeah, but the fighters mainly super got me into my favorite genre because we would go hard with the Dragon Ball Z, Budokai, remember the beam clashes and stuff.
Yeah.
You either get it or you destroy your analog stick.
Yeah,
one of those two.
And skins coming off your hand.
It's either skins coming off the hand or you see the rubber torn off on your joystick.
And then when you're completely done, you just see your joystick have a kind of a drift, it's not standing straight. It's just tilted in one direction or tilted the other direction.
Yeah, we had 2 people talking about Sparking Zero coming out.
Oh yeah, Tekken 4. Technically.
I wish they did the offline 2 players.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I hope they can patch it or something of that sort, which I doubt.
I doubt too.
Because Bandai Namco are not the brightest people when it comes to games.
And I think there was an article where I read about that. I gotta pull it up on Twitter or whatnot, about that, where the reason why I think it's due to possibly limitations or whatnot.
There's no limitations for a Super Saiyan, is what most people would say.
They have really good graphics, and I think they have a petition online for you to vote what characters you want to be in the game.
Dude, I love how the first 24 characters are Goku and Vegeta.
Bro, literally.
They have like Saiyan Saga Vegeta. They have Frieza Vegeta. They have Super Saiyan Vegeta 1, 2, and I think then they have the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan 1.
Super Saiyan Blue.
Okay, I found it. All right, I found it. I'm going to retweet it right now. So if you're following me on Twitter, I just retweeted it about Sparking Zero. So
I'm about to look.
So I'm just going to read it off. It says, if true, here's what's being said about Sparking Zero's split screen character, story mode, and more. The team is open to criticism and consists of enthusiasts, with Jun Furutani himself being a big fan. The local split screen mode will ultimately not be available, not due to the developers, but because of issues related to Sony and Microsoft making split screen adaptation complicated. They're trying to find a solution, but for now there won't be split screen, possibly due to Sony and Microsoft policies favoring the sale of more consoles. This wouldn't be the first time such a situation has occurred. The situation may still evolve, with the team being aware of the demand. Developers mentioned that adapting games to the Xbox Series S is particularly challenging.
Damn.
Yeah.
Watch there be a PC mod where that can happen.
You know, anything is possible. So if PC players and PC modders can make that happen, then hey, we just move the PC.
Not to sound offensive, but the Mexicans can do it. Bro, I'm not even being racist. Mexicans are like either A, the best anime fans, or B, the best fighting game players.
That's so true. I went to Cozumel and I was just like, there's Dragon Ball Z everywhere. Like on this food trucks. Like I was like, yo, they love Dragon Ball Z out there.
Off topic, during the what was it, Tournament of Power arc, someone's like, if Goku wins, the strip club's like, oh yeah, you get free lap dances. I was never the same after that. I'm like, yeah, Mexico to real anime Dragon Ball fans. We ain't shit.
Yeah.
I had to let that one out because that was the funniest thing I've read recently.
Plus the anime's coming out too.
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball
Magic or Magi or
Doma, Dogai or something like that.
Yeah, we're just a smaller Goku. I'm just like, bro.
It's GT it's new GT.
New GT.
I'm just like, what the hell is this? Just continue the story of Super, where we see Goku fighting Moro and all these other characters, and eventually leading up to the point where, all right, we get to see Black Frieza. Like, give us that. What, we don't want this.
They're stalling.
They're trying to stretch it out because there's not a lot of timeline left after Super. There's like, the Moro arc, and then like it's gonna be that Oob, where he's in the blue key type beat, the end of Dragon Ball Z. So they're just like, all right, let's throw in a little like side thing here for the cash grab, and I'm like,
Moro and Granola,
yeah, Granola arc. That's gonna be awesome to see Vegeta animated, like what's it called?
Super
Ultra
Saiyan.
Ultra
Ego, where he's purple.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck the instinct, I'm going all in.
That's awesome.
Or what did the kid say? I'm locking in.
I'm locking in. That was Scruffy last night. Her tag was I'm locking in or locked in. And it's a real thing. Like you'll see it in like the community. They're just like
I know. I saw a meme that Undergod posted. Like, what does this mean?
Locking in. It's just basically like
focus.
You're super focused now. Before you're just like autopiloting. Now you're like you're in it. You're.
Yeah, I cooked somebody that said this, and I'm still not the same. I just unlocked them out of their focus. What happened?
All right. Before we move on to our next topic, last question. What are your top 3 favorite games of all time that you can think of growing up from your childhood all the way up until now?
No wrong answers.
Yeah, there's no wrong answers. What are your top 3 favorite games?
Oh man, that's tough. That's tough.
We can add a 4th worst case if you want to make.
I'll do a 4th maybe.
Okay.
One for sure. I mean, I like the first Jack, but Jack 2 is my favorite.
Ooh, yeah, the whole vehicular riding and such, and Dark Jack.
The guns and all that stuff. Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm an RPG.
Which one?
2.5. No, just
kidding. I'm kidding.
2.8. No, 2 is the best Kingdom Hearts game in the series for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Let me see. You think I'd say Smash Ultimate, but I feel like I don't like this game. I'll say Ultimate just because I play it competitively. And then the close 4th would probably be Skyrim, yeah.
Skyrim?
Oh.
Which one?
I like Oblivion, but I love Skyrim more, like the Elder Scrolls, because they just improved on everything that.
On what console?
PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation boy. You know that.
Oh, okay, I had to ask because there's a PC, then there's a remastered, and then there's a secondary remastered on the PS5.
My wife has the PC version. She's a PC person. I'm like,
Oh my god, I'm afraid to see what mod she has because everyone that has mods for Skyrim are incredibly chaotic
yeah, the mods
and will
are
enhance
crazy.
their story even better. I respect that.
Yeah, I want to play through it again. But yeah, it'd be between Skyrim or Red Dead, but I would go with Skyrim for the fourth.
Okay,
Nice.
respectable.
Nice. All right. So moving on to our next topic. What are your current thoughts on the state of gaming? Give us your current thoughts on the state of gaming
Like in general, or just like in Smash?
in general.
Yeah, in general.
I think it's a lot easier like nowadays to get better at a game because we have so many like resources, right? You have YouTube videos, you have Discord chats, you have people that play the same character that you do, or you have tutorials. Versus like back in the day, you had to figure out everything yourself. There was no like, or they had the like guide with like the paper, and you had to flip through the pages, and there was some like general like, hey, do this, but it might not work, and you got to like try different things and stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
I feel like it's a lot easier nowadays to get good at like a certain game if you like want to put in the hours. But it's just like who has more time to grind the game and put in the work. Like if you mentioned like Smash Bros, like we grind like last night we were here till like 2:00 and then we went to Wawa. Shout out to my you did not have the Wawa merch on me, did you?
The drip of Wawa.
I love Wawa. Wawa's like my favorite store. But we'll grind the game and like I have like a group chat that just grinds and talks shit with each other, and we like improve like that. Shout out to the boys, Loud John, Alonzo, Dart, Miles, DJ, all the boys. Alex, if I missed your name, I'm sorry.
They're gonna be like, "Hey, what about me?" in the chat.
Yeah, like, yo, you didn't mention my name. But yeah, it's just, it's also really like toxic too. Like we're not. I complain in person. If you ever see me lose a match or whatever, like I like to complain in person, get it out for like 5-10 minutes, and then move on with my life.
Yeah.
Venting is human.
The newer gen, they like to vent on Twitter, but that's there forever. So, and you can't really like,
You can screenshot it too.
right. And you'd be like, this guy's crying about this, or this guy's seething and molding about this. And it's like, well, maybe they didn't mean that, or maybe that's how they felt in the moment, but now it's there forever. So it's a little more toxic.
Yeah, you can just be like, "Hey, is this you?"
Is this you?
Yeah,
Pulls up the
literally.
Discord chats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody's,
Hey, you got to pull the receipts on them and be like, hey, is this you? This was you?
nobody's safe in the internet.
Yeah. But yeah, and as far as like the competitive scene goes, I think it's better in the sense like since we're more like a community, we all want to like see our region like do good and improve when we go out to like the majors and stuff like that. That it really helps like get everybody like up to speed and better with whatever game they're playing.
Nice.
Frame One Nut, I agree with you. Like, it really makes no sense to bitch on Twitter. I still don't get it, but I've gotten to the point, even for me, throughout the years, like, I ain't gonna say shit. I'm gonna just have my usual shit that I, talk about, and that's it.
You're like, "Fuck Nier." That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, if you want my personal thoughts, hey, hit me up or come out whenever I'm here at Flynn's and we can talk, and I can definitely give you a complete tour of how I feel about X, Y, and Z. But it's vented onto it, bro. I ain't doing that shit. I'm too
Yeah.
grown for that.
Offline's more authentic, anyways.
Exactly.
Or if you use Discord, at least with no one recording, which is
Yeah.
what you have to worry about sometimes, but not
Yeah.
really.
The Squidward, but it's fun, like to vent and like make fun of each other on Twitter and like poke fingers and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I have a Discord chat. We just vent. Nobody records anything.
Right.
Boom. We like, "Hey, is everybody streaming?" No. All right. Fuck fist. End of the day. That's like, we're very simple-minded. We just keep things private.
As you should.
All conversation, unless it's been approved by another party.
Because when you do it, when you have like conversations with other gamers, especially like if it's in person, it's more authentic versus you do it online. Yeah, you can, have a conversation with people online, but some people can convey things differently, or you'll end up having people who are not even a part of the conversation just jump into the conversation like, bro, where you came from?
Yeah.
Like, it was just me and this other person, like, why are you jumping in our conversation? And just, yeah, that's why it's like, it's better just to do it in person. That way it just feels more authentic, and you actually can connect with the person a lot better in person versus online. But some people just need to, realize that. But that's neither here or there.
Also, it's like a persona kind of thing online. A lot of people are different online than they are in person.
It's like, oh, I'm the villain here.
Yep.
And most people are afraid to ask for like no pickles in their sandwich or call for a doctor's appointment.
Shout out to Undergod.
Called him out.
You know who I'm thinking about. That man, we're cool, but like online, he's like, I'm this, main villain.
It's not funny.
I'm the bad guy. And then I talked to him, and he's like, hey, how are you doing, my friend? Like, I'm just like, hey, what's up, man? Super nice, doesn't say anything, super quiet. I'm just like, yo, you're so different from online, but he's a troll online, like me. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever looked back at his episode. It was actually pretty chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we mostly just like I didn't expect it because I didn't know him well, but now I understand him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Edgar's a cool guy.
Oh yeah.
Kind of the same way too. Like troll. Actually, I'm a troll in both aspects, online and in person.
Oh no, I just talk some random shit. Like no one knows my next move, and that's how I make it. Because I'm not a villain. I'm just a guy that disrupts.
You're an anti-villain. That's you.
Yes,
I don't like his kind.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, the second Smashcast that we had. Oh
It's
my.
like I don't like his kind. Isabel Maines.
The pause he took was so comically on purpose. Like, he's just like,
Like he knew what he said.
oh wait.
Like we all like were just. I was dumbfounded.
Also, shout out to Undergod for funding my first major experience. Appreciate the money match. $100 money match that dude. Watched him. He paid the $100. I was broke at the time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to my first major in Miami. Cash me out with $100." I think he was going 1000. He almost put an extra 0 to send me for cash out. He's like, "What if I would have sent that?" I'm like, "What to give back to you? I'm not an asshole." Like, oh, thanks.
Stories like that are always great to hear.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the first time I heard someone talk about a money match winning. Actually, it's like probably one of the few times we've heard about money matches winning. We haven't heard one losing yet. That'll probably be me in the future. Who knows?
I haven't lost a big amount yet, but like $5-10, yeah, I've lost.
True. I remember someone tried to money match me. I'm like, how much? $10. I'm like, that's expensive.
Expensive.
I jokingly said that while Silver was fighting somebody. I was trying to get some comic relief. Because I know it's his first major. I'm like, I don't want to stress this man out. I don't want him stressed hearing this bullshit. So I just started heckling.
Oh, question for you, Silver. When you go to majors, what's like your main focus besides obviously like competing and doing well? Like, what do you like to do?
For me, it's just more so just learning about the experience, learning about the major itself. Because I'm looking at everything on a logistical level, and then I try to see, okay, how can I, with everything that they got going on, how can I try to bring that down to a local level? That's what I look at. That's like my main objective when I go to majors. Yeah, to have fun, to compete, to do well, but more so just learning the business side of majors, so that way I can have an idea of, okay, how can I try to bring that down to Flynn's? Mm-hmm. And people can see that when I did Fighter Fest 5 when it was at the Urban League, and it was a big event. We had well over 200 plus people coming out for that event. For all of our tournaments or whatnot. And you can see that like throughout the time that I've went to CEO and CEO Otaku, like I've just like taken, information, asked a couple of people about, how do you do this? How do you do that? And just seeing the level of what it takes. And I will say that it is godly expensive.
Yes, it is.
It is ridiculously expensive. And I see why, and some people may not notice, like, when it comes to like majors and things like majors, regionals, or even local levels, at most you are running at a loss. You are running at a financial loss, and that's something that people don't realize or understand, that like FGC's tournaments really do not make a lot of money unless you have like a stupidly amount of big of a turnout
Or a psychotic donor.
Yeah, and you get like a really good sponsor that helps you pay off, some of this debt that you're going to accumulate. Mm-hmm. That's why I it worries me that when certain events like CEO, hey, they were at a financial loss. Like last year, they were at a financial loss.
Yeah.
yeah, that means that they could, maybe cut back on a couple of things, like a couple of events, or just try to be like, we're going to have to mitigate this because the fact that, last year we lost money, so we have to try to find a way to make more money. And when people complain, especially Smash players, this is something that y'all need to understand. When the venue prices of your favorite tournaments or majors go up, there's a reason behind it, and that's because the fact that it is not sustainable at a very big level. On a very small local level, like compared to Flynn's, GH, ROK, whatnot, like it's sustainable at that level. But if you want to really go big and try to go all out, you are going to run the risk of being running out of financial loss. Fighter Fest 5, as I've told a couple of people, that Flynn's lost money on that. Granted, it was a big, event. It was a big, I would say it was a big success because we had a lot of people compared to all the previous Fighter Fest or whatnot. We had well over 200, but it was still at a financial loss because there are certain things that you have to take into consideration, especially on the logistical level. And of course, taking into fact that venue prices can go up. There are certain things like internet at these venues are godly expensive.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then of course, when it comes to the equipment that you have to get, like I have to get a lot of setups, I got to get a lot of monitors, and you have to pay for shipping to get them shipped to your location and back. There's also paying your staff, like a lot of these things go into effect before you even see a dime coming to you. So when people say, "Oh, you're trying," you are going to have some people that are going to try to make money off of this. But I would tell them, advise them, if you're going to be a TO, if you're going to come into this, do it with the fact that you first love it. You have to love it. You have to enjoy it because that's where people are going to see your passion, your work into it. That's why when people, say bad things about the venue or whatnot, I take offense to it because this is my passion. This is the work and effort that I put into it because nobody else wasn't running tournaments at Flynn's other than me. I'm the first one.
Yeah.
So a lot of this effort and how it grew over the years was all because of me, because I'm some guy that just I never competed in tournaments. I don't know shit about running tournaments or whatnot when I first came into this, and I just went with it, and I'm just like, and I'm still learning. And now that I've gotten some years on my back, now I've learned like the logistical things behind it because logistics is something that I specialize in greatly. So now that's why I kind of do things a lot differently than other venues because I'm looking at a more logistical level to where I don't want to continue to keep operating at a financial loss. Like, I know I'm going on a
You're fine.
I know I'm going on a lot and whatnot, but
Spitting facts though.
yeah,
Yes, you are.
But even I put in a lot of money into Flynn's, and I would tell people, and I'd say that I think I put in over $5,000 of my own money into Flynn's. Now, have I made my money back? Yeah, I would say I'm close to 2,500, like left. So I've gotten 25 out of it. I got my 25 out of it, out of the $5,000. So you're slowly going to make your money back, but it's going to be extremely slow. And that's just something that people just need to, take in consideration is the fact that doing it, if you want to go big, just go in knowing that you are going to lose a lot of money in this because you may have like a lot of tournaments lined up, but if people don't know who you are, if people don't trust your reputation, you're going to lose a lot of money.
Yes.
And gaming consoles, equipment, things like that, it's stupidly expensive. Like when you run the numbers, it's stupidly expensive. And you have to find a way to be like, how am I going to, if I'm going to host an event, where I'm going to get this money from? Yeah, I'm going to put some money up front, but how much of it are you going to try to make back to the point where you can sustain it? That's why on a small local level, you can sustain it. Mm-hmm. But when you try to go stupidly big, then you're going to run a lot of risk of losing even a lot more money because you're going to have to put a lot up front. And here in South Florida, when it comes to venue prices, most places are starting off at $15,000, and that's just the base.
Yeah.
They're not even telling you all the hidden fees that come along with it.
Yeah,
So-
the average entry is 15,
Yeah.
now pretty much.
Oh,
And
my.
that was kind of like a big thing for us because Not for me, really. If you have a job, $5 extra is not.
Yeah, it's not gonna kill you.
It's an expense you're willing to pay, to
Yeah.
still have your locals and whatever. But like, I know a lot of kids are like $5. Like, I'm not going. And you saw the attendance drop a little bit. And,
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it's not worth it. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I can see now. I'm looking at what you're saying. I'm seeing it from both aspects of like, okay, the customer, we're playing more money. It's not really anything's changing. It's just more now. And then the people that compete and go like 1-2, 0-2, and then they go home. It's not really. I can't imagine it's super fun for them because they're not really getting to play the game that long.
Yeah.
Versus we're kind of lining up the pockets of like the better players who like do come out because now it's a bigger pot where they're getting more money. So
That's what most people can imagine. If it's with the amount of participants and such.
Yeah, and when you mentioned like the venue prices going up or whatnot, yeah, that's the thing because eventually because at the end of the day, this is still, this venue is still a business. They still have to operate, they still have to operate and whatnot and still, make money to keep things going. And of course, if they make enough, they're able to even grow and expand to even more. So with that, yeah, eventually the prices are going to go up, but it's not going to be like super dramatic. If anything, it's going to be like, small little increments because what people don't like, yeah, Smash here at Flynn's is $15. Yeah. But if you remember from 2020 all the way up until 2023, it's always all the way up until May 2023, it has always been $10. So that's how and Flynn's has been in business since 2019.
Yeah.
So eventually the price is going to slowly go up. And I see that with other venues like 404 Esports up in Atlanta, Georgia. Like their venue price went up and people were complaining about it, but it's just like, if you want to keep this alive, then it's like they don't want to increase the price, but it's like how the economy is, inflation's a thing people don't realize. Like shit is going to go up.
Yeah, it's something
but
that
it's
we
not
can't
gonna.
control.
But it may not be drastic, but it's gonna be like a slow increase. Like even here at Flynn's, now that they've renovated, there's no other than Tuesdays. There is no like $10 an hour. It's now just 15, because eventually they have to raise it up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, and I hope people understand that when your favorite venue prices decide to go up, there's a reason behind it, and that's because the fact that things are going up on their end.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, if you want to keep us, if you want to, keep the business going for many years to come, certain things are going to change. Because I looked at the way how I do things at Flynn's, especially on a tournament level. My biggest example, and that I kept asking myself was, how was it that Versus closed? How did they close? Why did they close? What were some of the things that they were not doing that led them to, completely just close for business or whatnot? That's what I looked at it as. And I keep reminding myself, like, what did they do? What did they not do to keep going? Because Versus and Flynn's were open, but Flynn's was still new. But Versus was on the scene for about, I think, 6 years. Mm-hmm. So how did a 6-year business completely just go away? Yes, the pandemic played a huge part in everybody and affected a lot of people. But Versus at that time had a much bigger community than Flynn's. So why did Versus go away and Flynn's end up surviving during the pandemic? And I think that's something that people need to take notice.
Take some realization.
Take some realization or whatnot. My throat's getting itchy or whatnot. That's why I'm like coughing or whatnot.
No worries.
Got water for you if you want in the bag. No problem.
Appreciate that. But it's just like, you have to look at it like that. Like, what made them go away? Like, what made them go out of business? Like, what made your favorite venue just stop running tournaments altogether? Like, there has to be a reason why. And most of it is going to be financial. Mm-hmm. They cannot financially keep it up because things are changing on their end that we, the customer, the attendee, or the community member, we don't see, we don't know. So when venues make changes and increase their prices for entry, it's not just for them to even make more money out of the community. For the most part, it's not. It's mostly just the fact that they have to balance what they're going through to keep them going for more years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Yeah, I think GH has it right. As far as like with the points thing is pretty cool for like
Yeah.
rewards. Like, hey, you're gonna pay this price, but if you pay this, we'll give you free stuff eventually if you accumulate it, kind of like a reward system.
Yeah, you can earn it and use it, or use it for discounts.
I
for more
think people
stuff.
like the competitors really like that too. I love it.
Oh, I love it too. I have like 111 points.
And you can buy other stuff too. It's not just like
Yeah.
food.
Your
or
entry is
whatever.
points, your food is points, or even like most of it's TCG anyway. So cards that you buy are points.
Yeah, and you wanna because you wanna have a system where where you're gonna have like good retention throughout the throughout the time. Like you have people coming back, and that's something that I wanted to do with the Smash community, to where my focus, like before I stepped down, like my focus for 2023 was I want more casual people who play Smash casually. I want them to start coming out. What can I do to get those casual players to come out to the competitive scene? Because everyone starts out as a casual before you become competitive. So what can you do? What can you implement to make it, very attractive to casual people to come out even more? And that's something that I continuously keep, writing down and be like, okay, what strategies can I implement? What can I do a little bit differently? Because I realize that you could try to cater to the stronger competitive players. Yeah, they may bring out some people, but it's not going to be for too long. You want those casual people to come out, because they make up, those casual players that typically go 0-2, 1-2, they make up 90% of the bracket.
Yep.
Yeah.
There needs to be a good incentive for them to come out and go 0-2.
Yeah.
There needs to be a good reason for them to come out and go 0-2. And it's not so that they can play a PR player. Hopefully they play a PR player. There needs to be a much better reason for them to come out. And that's why I always focus on experience. Like, it has to be good.
My fault. He's quick with it. An
You know, but
incentive.
you good.
An incentive.
Yeah, there's got to be an incentive for that 0-2 player, that 1-2 player, to keep coming out more, because they make up 90% of the bracket. They make up over 90% of the tournament pot that the PR player is going to end up winning anyway.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a good reason for them to come out. And I think when Sabrick was running things and whatnot, and there was like a second stream setup, we had redemption brackets, and I want to implement that, but with how things are, it's just like that's going to be a work in progress in this
difficult.
venue. So
Yeah.
I want to implement a redemption bracket to where, hey, if you win in the redemption bracket, guess what? Your next tournament entry to Flynn's is free. It's paid off.
Yeah, that
because
makes
you want to create an incentive for those people who go 0-2. Like, hey, even though you went 0-2 in the main bracket, join this redemption bracket, which is 100% free. And if you win, your next tournament is 100% free.
Yeah.
I think for
Like
the newer games, it'd be nice too.
Yeah, like you want to create an incentive for people to come out even more. And if more venues, and this is my strategy that I'm implementing, so you can clip this and send it to other venues. Create an incentive for those 0-2 and 1-2 players to keep coming out more. There needs to be a reason for them to come out more, so that way you have a much bigger bracket. How can you get more casual gamers who don't play the game competitively, but yeah, they'll play it every now and then, they'll play it with their buddies? How can you get them to come out to your venue more often? And when they do come out, what experience can you give them to the point where they come out regularly?
Well said.
Yeah. And with that being said, let's move on to our next topic, and that is, give us your you had to be there moments. What moments that you can explain that, you had to be there for this?
For sure, like Rex Baron comes to mind as far as like just the vibe. There's a certain event I'm trying to think of that I can remember. I wasn't there for it, but I heard about it. It's called the Maffey Burger incidents, bro. Like, on everybody's, like, iceberg or whatever. Where long story short, he was eating a burger, and them burgers are big. They're like maybe like this big. They're expensive too. $30 for a burger. That kind of waxing a little bit.
Yeah, you're in Boca.
He's eating his burger, but he gets called by Jeff to like play his set, and he's been eating it for like a cool 10 minutes. Whoever's waiting on him is like getting iced out right now, and I think Jeff said, Maffey, you have like 5 seconds to get to station whatever before we DQ you. And they said, I've never seen this boy scarf down a burger so quick. The boy was just like, he like Kirby inhaled it, like, you know. And then he went to play a set. So they call that like the Maffey burger incident. As far as like my personal like pop off at Rex Barron's, probably like when I beat Gundam 2-1, because I had never been like a really like good player. I would go like 1-2, 0-2. I was
Understandable.
So when I finally got my first big win, like I popped off. I was happy.
Hell yeah.
And if you did good at those Rex Barron's tournaments, like you were valid. Like they were like 40 plus players, like, and you got top 8. That was an accomplishment. You're considered like a good player.
Yeah,
for
that
week.
does sound difficult with a 40+ bracket. Ain't no one safe.
My favorite for Flynn's would be just playing Mac Dittos with a Joy-Con, because those are the best times. And don't ask our set, record is like 14-3, but
Oh no, I'm like smiling because I see Joy-Con's response.
He's in the chat just listening. Yeah.
I heard he spent 45 minutes not eating it.
Oh really? He was just staring at it. He's just looking at it.
That's what I'm reading right now. Unless the guy is here and present to explain himself.
Also, the grudge matches here that he would host.
Oh, those are
Fighters
genuine.
Fest.
Those are genuine.
Yeah, the Joy-Con versus
I cried.
DGK, yeah.
I cried at the incident at the initiation when it began. That robbery was so cold-blooded.
Yeah, and he popped. That was a pre-planned pop-off, which I didn't like. It wasn't like, it wasn't genuine. He had it ready to go. I was like, there's no way this guy's this excited about 3-0ing somebody. Like, if it was close, you could pop off. But it was, I guess it's all the shit talk and stuff and the accumulation of it.
Oh, yeah, build up.
We need, I don't think the grudge matches should be that expensive, but we need grudge matches to
We
come
don't
back.
talk about the Joy-Con.
If he didn't play Little Mac, and he played another character, which he picked up Wolf recently, I think he would do a lot better. And I always tell him, why are you playing this character? He loves him. You don't care if the low tier is good or not. If you vibe with the character and you like it, you play it.
Anyone can cook. I'm just laughing because I see the rest of his stuff. Lau's existence is one of the best experiences.
What'd he say?
Frame One Nut says Lau's existence is one of the best experience.
So that's our friend. He's the older type in the group chat. And he's really funny. He's really tall, and his expressions and his reactions, if something say you take a game off him, he does this thing where he slaps his leg really hard. So he's playing, he's and I'm just, it scares me sometimes. It's just
I mean, I can understand that. You don't want to break your controller. You don't want to show
so
that.
you hit your thigh, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple people do that.
I did that when I was playing shooters in MK11, but I stopped that. I matured a bit.
We just tease Lau, so it's always fun to just tease that one person in your group chat and you just talk shit back and forth.
Hippie botting Tamago.
That one was cool because that was a good moment too. But I don't consider it the highlight, but most people do because I was the underdog. The whole chat probably bet against me, 18 people versus one random. I don't know who it was, but they made bank on their parlay or whatever because they're all yeah, Tamago's gonna win, blah blah blah, and I 2-0'd him, and they were oh, this guy's a really good player. This guy just beat him, blah 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 blah, and I'm just yeah, I'm getting better at the game. I'm grinding, and that was a cool thing because I won it, and the one guy who got the points say, you got a lot of points from me. You're welcome.
Damn. That's actually good to know.
Yeah.
I guess you passed tryouts.
Tryouts. Yeah, I'm right there in gatekeeper status. You have a couple players in our scene that are they could be PR if they just work a little harder in their gatekeeper. Me, Nemesis, Diabeo, just naming a couple.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Alonzo could be PR if he tried, which is Frame One Nut. That's commenting. He really good Isabel player. You just have a lot of people like us that are almost there on the level of PR players, but the PR players are so much better than us. There's that next level. There's such a gap in just hours and time you have to play.
Yeah, that's understandable with most games like that.
These kids be reacting fast as heck. I'm getting off the ledge. I'm already getting grabbed off the neutral get up, and I'm I have to guess where he's gonna go. I can't react that fast. These kids are here, boom, got him. The reaction time is just so much faster.
Old man reaction. Sometimes
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. You get to 20, 27, you're
Herb says the same fucking thing.
you don't think 0.5 seconds is a long time, but hey, in competitive play, it matters.
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, it definitely does matter. I'm just laughing because Herb said this for Street Fighter because he had a perfect pair. He's old man reactions are still there. I'm you motherfucker, that's not what it's for.
All right, our next topic is what are your gaming pet peeves? What what are some things that just annoy you when it comes to gaming that you can share and discuss?
We already talked about one of them was like the complaining on Twitter. I
Yeah.
just think it's not healthy to have everybody like in the community just see you openly complain and cry on Twitter when you could just do it in person and grind the matchup and get better at it.
Heck yeah.
I think another one that bothers me is like, which I don't mind it. People that like are talking really loud behind you in your sets because you gotta lock in. That's what we say. You gotta lock in. You have the headphones and like
Yeah, I learned that
you gotta
lesson.
ignore the back comments of like, oh my god, he's gonna jump or blah blah blah. You gotta like drown that out. But I personally don't like it, so sometimes I put on like headphones or whatever.
Yeah,
if
it
my
makes
friends
you
are
want to
watching.
jump because they say that.
Yeah, you're influencing like their actions and stuff like that.
Yeah, heckling is a normal thing for most people in the fighting game community.
Yeah,
That's
so
understandable.
You just have to get used to it.
Yeah, I learned it the hard way.
I mean, I don't have a lot of crazy pet peeves. So yeah, heckling. We got complaining on Twitter. I hate people that which I'm guilty of it, where they complain about the results, but they don't want to put in the time and effort to get better.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that last night, like, oh, all these people are leaving and they don't want to grind matchups, and they complain that they go 1-2-0-2 every year. I'm like, are you putting in the work to get better? How do you think you're just gonna magically get results? Like, you gotta put in the work, and that's just with anything in life.
Yeah, and that's something that I've seen here at Flynn's, where it's on the FGC side, where some of the people who typically who don't do well, like in the beginning they didn't do well, but they end up staying, after tournaments, after brackets, they would play against some of the better players, or some of the players that typically win the locals for the night or whatnot, and they would just like learn, and they kept doing it repetition and whatnot. And I still see the same people who typically don't do well. Like if they may get like 9th or 13th, they'll stay a little bit longer. Like if the bracket's done early, then they'll stay a little bit longer and just play against other people, whatnot, just so that way they can get better. And throughout the time, I've seen them even get better to the point where they've made top 8. Waluigi was one of them, to where.
Yeah.
He was going 0-2 in Strive, and then he would just stay a little bit after the tournament, and just play against other people or whatnot. You've played against Marvello, you played against Creator,
Yeah.
you played against Foreface a lot, you played against Herbs a lot.
Oh, I lost my mind like, multiple times.
Beefy, a boy, like the list goes on. Like you played against these people outside of bracket, to the point where it's just like now you've even bettered yourself as a player, to the point where now like hey, I can make top 8 in at these locals or whatnot, or any local in South Florida.
Literally, Friday was the first time I haven't made a top 8 in a hot minute. I'm just like, I needed this. I needed a wake-up call. It wasn't my ego inflating or anything, but it's great to see the competition actually still thriving for many games.
Yeah, and as you said, with Smash, like if you want to get better at the game, if the tournament is done early, stay a little bit longer, play against other people. Like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
can I get a game in or whatnot? Like that's how you improve.
Yeah. Then online training, I ask people for advice, or I look at other people. Like I observe certain movements, because everyone plays differently. I sure as hell play differently from most like Ramlethal players, and now I'm learning Ryu from Street Fighter. I'm like switching games to practice more fundamentals and see if my fundamentals can grow in other stuff. The last thing I personally want to be is a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Someone who's good at only one game. That would bother me to death.
I'm just kidding.
I don't throw shade at the Smash people or anything like this. It's just my own personal thing. I want to get more interaction. I want to be known as a competitor in many games.
Would you be like open like to stream and stuff like that?
Heck yeah.
Be a streamer.
Once I get my stream set up, because I accidentally updated OBS and I lost my stream stuff, and I got to get the guy who helped me take care of it. Yes. Because I'm happy to break down my logic or why I do things or what I could have done.
Better.
Yeah, and plus I want to get the frame data mod for Strive. Because frame data in that game is terrifying.
Those are the people that really improve super fast. They got like the frame data in their phone and they're just checking. This is minus on this. This is -3. This is
Because I'm
-4.
terrible at accounting myself for frame data, but now I'm glad I'm aware of recovery in certain things. I'm slowly breaking it down, because doing the math, my buddy Herbs will break down math easily. But for me, it's hard to register. It's like, oh yeah, this is -56. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to know this? But frame data, that's something that I personally say can help you with your fundamentals and actually the mental. adapting, learning how to lose is probably one of the
Yeah.
best.
That took a while for me.
So like I went 0-2 consistently. I learned how to lose properly. I wasn't really pissed off, except I think I was salty once losing to my own teammate Butters for Happy Chaos being a broken character, because he could be minus but plus. Happy Chaos has a gun mechanic, 6 bullets or 5 bullets now. Where usually if you're minus somewhere, you can just have a bullet and still be plus to extend your combo, but you have to reload.
Oh.
Yeah, he's still a broken character, even got nerfed, but sadly, I'm gonna find a way to adapt and get rid of the gimmicks.
Yeah.
Oh, another one that Frame One Nut was saying in the chat. It's pretty funny. Body odor. It's such a crazy what do they call it? I'm trying to remember the word. Not an example, but like a
Chemical
stigma.
warfare. No, I'm kidding.
Some people like you're playing games all day. Like you don't have time to hop in the shower. It's literally right there.
Yeah, I heard
like,
TCG, they like trading card games, they ban people for doing that.
It's just, like some of us be stinking. Like, bro, take a shower. Or, like they do
Get
take a
some
shower, but they
deodorant.
put on dirty clothes, and I'm like, yo, I
That's-
can smell you from over here. I'm not gonna name any names.
That's the new one. I have not heard that. I've heard some people's breaths are ridiculous. And
Breath is fine because you can turn your head and be like,
sometimes if they,
PS2.
if they still want to talk to you, I'm just like, I'm carrying gum now. I might smell like a little bit like garlic, but not like I'm overwhelmed like a dead body I chewed on.
When I went to Let's Make Big Moves, and they had like that room where it was like kind of inside, confined by the two. It smelled so bad. Like I was like, there's no way this is actually like a thing. Like I thought it was a meme that people like, yeah, Smash players stink. I'm like, no, some of them really
Yeah,
be stinking.
CEO 2021, our first one, they had a whole room for Smash. The heat index changed, or the temperature. It was probably like a good average 70. It's like 90 degrees in there, with stank. It wasn't the same. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was there.
It's just like when you go in and out, it's a difference between night and day.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't forget that shit.
You ever see that episode of SpongeBob where he's like, soap, what is soap?
Yes.
That's literally like most of our tournaments sometimes. Which I won't ever call somebody up and be like, you stink. Like, I'll never do that, but like.
I would just give hints, subtle advice.
Right, like,
hey, training outside.
guy? How you doing?
I'll just tell someone to run in the rain for me or some shit.
Run in the rain.
I don't know.
What?
They don't train social cues for this stuff.
Yeah. Social cues is another thing. Like, people talk to you like they know you because they follow you on
Yes.
Twitter or whatever, and you're just like, I don't know this guy, but hey, what's up? You know, we play the same video game, but that's all I really know about you. Like, we're not best friends or anything, but
I just be chilling with the homies.
right. We're just there.
Like if
to
you
have
want to
good
be a
time.
homie, just know I'll be chilling. I'll be talking my shit if I know you well enough. Sometimes I tread carefully depending on the person.
Yeah, you don't want to talk shit to like a little kid or like a 12-year-old.
No,
that's
no.
not me personally.
Oh no. I meant people within my age range. They followed me for a while. They actually introduced themselves, like, "Hey, what's up? How's it going? I'm this." I'm like, "Okay, cool. We can talk now."
You're old enough for the shit talk that I don't have to moderate it right
Yes.
down.
You got
I just sorry to cut you off. I just want to point this one comment that Fremont Nut just said. Another pet peeve: people talk shit on Twitter or throw shade, but don't say it in person.
Yep.
If that ain't the fucking
Alonzo
truth,
is
Yeah.
real as fuck for that.
Yep. Facts.
Jesus, we need you here next.
That would be a crazy interview. He's really funny. I don't know if you heard him on comms last night. Hilarious.
You're gonna make me go to the comms later.
Yeah. Go watch last night's Flynn's thing, the podcast or the video, the VOD, and just check that out. He's on there with me, and it's like he's hilarious, man. I love Alonzo. I love everybody in my group chat because like when I was talking about grinding, like that's like the main reason why I've been getting better. Besides like grinding on Metafy, which is like an online service.
I was ready to
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah,
Actually.
Metafy. Shout out to my teacher, Loaf Best Wario in Minnesota. He like has been improving my gameplay a lot and just helping with like the mental notes and what I was supposed to be doing and stuff. But getting to actually put it in practice in person with like my group chat is
That's
pretty cool.
cool, actually.
Me and Dart been grinding a lot, so and we've been getting better results for the first like this whole year. Haven't missed the top 8,
That's
which is pretty cool.
Definitely what's up. Yeah, I see you on top 8. So I'm like, Wario top 8 does not sound like it makes sense, but it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, really satisfying character to play once you got the gameplay down.
absolutely.
You have more pet peeves?
More pet peeves. Let me see.
Because we went over the basic ones like
Yeah.
shit talking, odor, behaviors of some people.
Being late, but I can't really say being late because I'm guilty of it as well. But being like half an hour.
Yeah, like half an hour late.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
So you can still plead a
I can
fifth.
take 15 minutes late.
5. Yeah.
I can like 5, 10, 15 minutes. I can take that late. 20, like a little kind of pushing it, but 30 minutes late, like, dude.
Just take
Dude.
the L.
I know this is every TO's pet peeve is when you guys ask to stop your friendlies and we keep playing for like another 2 minutes.
And you're like, hurry up. Get the fuck out. I want to go home. Ooh, people flaking.
People,
That's a funny one.
Or in FGC terms, ducking.
ducking. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everyone ducks.
Loud John, stop ducking. We need
know-
you to come and back up your shit talk.
We know you have a life.
You can have a life outside of video games. I have no
Yeah,
problem with
but
that.
if you don't- if you
you're
stand-
constantly talking shit about us and we're like inviting you to come and like, hey, prove it, and you don't show up, I'm sick for the 3rd week in a row. Loud.
Man, we need to bring back beef sets.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for grudge matches or
or
beef.
trash talking at least.
That's the best part of the game. That's why I like Smash Bros. It's fun to like shit talk with people that like give it back to me. You know?
After this, I'll show you some Strive discourse later.
I'm down.
And
with
I've
you.
also learned that you can't shit talk everybody.
Not
yeah.
everybody.
You can not everybody, because it's just like they're not built like that.
They're not
It's-
messing
and
with
yeah, they're not built like that, and they're not that kind of person. So it's just you're more so better off just like
Talking to a mirror at that point.
no, just like keeping
joking.
things just neutral and mutual, and just be like yeah. But if I can shit talk you, it's just like yeah, we can definitely make something very interesting. Like these two players that we know of that had like 2 grudge matches on a stage before.
Oh my god, I can't forget one guy had a cash app. I don't know how much he cashed out. That was just funny.
That's gotta suck.
It was
to
a
lose
Strive
match
set.
just-
I think it was a first to 10.
and
Oh yeah, I remember. It was Creator versus
Zeno, I think.
Zeno. Yeah.
And that was the last time he showed up.
Damn.
No, I'm kidding.
Put him in
Everyone,
retirement.
everyone has a life.
Yeah. But like, if you're gonna talk shit, like you're that good at the game, then come prove it. Let's run a set.
Yeah.
Let's put some money behind it. Let's make this interesting. And if we can get an audience, if we can get a crowd behind it, like people want to see this, let's make it happen.
Like if you see Mortal Kombat on Frosty Faustings, you don't even have to know the game, but you just see everyone's reactions. It is the funniest shit in the world because everyone talks shit even in the middle of the set. They just look at you. It's like, yeah, what are you gonna say? Sit down, bitch.
Like you're either gonna win or you're gonna lose. It's like
Oh yeah, like people pop off after a set and then they'll get cooked. There was one guy who cooked like 5 times in a row until Gur showed up, who was like the best gears in the U.S.
I think it's just good. It's healthy to talk shit to people.
Oh, hell yeah. You got to test out human capabilities. You got to see how thick someone's skin is.
Yeah, and of course, it's also entertaining as well. Like if it's like really entertaining, then all you're doing is just generating more hype for people to come and watch this. Be like, all right, let's see, like the beef between these two. Let's see what's gonna happen or whatnot. Like, cause you already know whoever wins is gonna have like the best pop off, the best reaction and whatnot. And I think when we had the second grudge match with Undergod and Diavolo, shout out to Diavolo and whatnot. I think people were not as hyped for that one. Like people wanted it to happen, but as the match was like progressively going on, it was pretty much going in Undergod's favor.
Yeah, he got washed.
Yeah.
It's not interesting to see if it's not close.
Yeah. Close games, internal reactions, face cams, etc.
I just want to put it out there on podcast. You guys can clip it. I do want to do a grudge match with Lau because he talks the most shit to me every single day.
It'd be your own homies.
And I just want to like, embarrass him on stream or wherever we can host
As you
it.
should.
Yes.
So whoever TOs you hear this, if you're down to, have us and sponsor, we'll pay, up to however much money, and I'm down to throw an extra $100 if he's down to first to 5 me. Calling you out loud.
I love this setup
You heard it
already.
here first.
This is the second time we've heard a grudge match. The other one was unable to happen, I believe, with Balboa.
Yeah.
Who was it? Balboa and who else?
Baranimo.
Oh, that would be fun.
That was supposed to happen. But things happen.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Yeah. But yeah, like stuff like that, as I said, it makes things a lot interesting. It keeps people more engaged into the game. And I also feel like a story, like the story of the grudge match has to be extremely important. And I think that's the reason why when people are like, hey, can I have a grudge match with, so-and-so person? But it's like, yeah, I don't have a kind of a story.
No beef.
Yeah, no beef building up or whatnot. It's not going to be that interesting. And I think that's the reason why like Joy-Con and DGK's was so entertaining was because there was a story of it.
I know, and then there was a sequel.
Yeah.
There's no part 3, thank God.
Yeah.
There can only be so much of the same person.
We need a trilogy. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, their offsprings in like 20 years in Smash Infinity.
Like there needs to be a story, like, and it has to be like authentic. It got to be organic, and it has to be like real. Like it can't just be something that just made up or whatnot. Like
This is made in the trash.
Yeah, that's why I've turned down so many grudge matches that people were like, hey, I want to have. I'm like, no, there's no story behind y'all. Like,
It's better just say money match instead of a grudge match at this point.
like people don't want to see the same PR players go up against each other in a grudge match or whatnot. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
No,
but
you have to have somebody outside of that scene.
yeah, you have to have like the shadow PRs or the people who are like below the shadow PRs to have a grudge match because that's
Neo Tours colliding.
Yeah, because it makes it interesting because it's unpredictable. You don't know where it's gonna go.
Oh hell yeah! I heavily agree with this. I made like a little joke with somebody for at another local. They're like, "Hey, you want to do a money match between 2 other people that don't know how to play? You get 15 minutes of time. See whoever wins, they get $10, 10 or
Yeah.
15. I was willing to high roll 20.
Yeah. Well, I hear the arcade's opening, so we got to wrap it.
Yeah.
You got last thing?
Last pet peeve, yeah.
Yes.
Just wanted to point out, what was it? People who don't know how to separate like the hate between character and the player. Like,
Oh,
I feel
that's
like
a new one.
I've experienced this like also with people who just play like controversial characters. They'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy plays Sonic, Steve, Kazuya, Wario. I hate this person. And I'm like, I try to tell the younger kids, I'm like, no, you don't hate the person. You hate the fact that they beat you, you're losing, or you hate the character.
The matchup.
Yeah, you don't necessarily hate the person. And it's, it took me actually a year to differentiate that between, oh, I hate this, XYZ player. No, I just hate his character and I hate losing. But once
Yeah.
I got better at the game, I was like, yo, this guy is so cool outside of like the game,
Oh yeah.
So like you just gotta separate like character from the player, and that happens sometimes.
Yeah, that happens with a lot of Twitter people playing Guilty Gear, where they hate the person because they play a certain character.
Right. I'm like, you hate a person who wants to win the same thing you want to do.
Oh, I made someone block me because of that. Because they said, oh, if you didn't play Ram with Doll, you would have been fucked. I'm like, I'm sorry, I learned how the Jacko matchup from a Jacko player who taught me how to play Ram.
Right.
And then I clipped his ass on Twitter, and I followed him at the same time.
I gotta follow you after the stream for sure. I gotta see this.
Yes, I'm the type of you. I'm like, watch this robbery I committed, guys. Not clickbait. Because I didn't touch Strive for like a whole month, and I just signed up for a monthly just to be nice to a new org named HippyJumps. This was just one of my ego moments to tell. That's someone that can't differentiate a character and a player. Because all around, I'm just chill, mellow, saying, hey, good games, good luck, and all this. Like, I always wish for the best for somebody, unless they put me in my worst. Which is just karma in general.
All right, well, we got to wrap up. The arcade's slowly about to open, so you got to, set the place up and whatnot. But other than that, HippyJump, thank you again for being a part of this episode. Thank you for joining us. We got to get you on a Smashcast.
Yes.
We definitely got to get you on a Smashcast.
Agreed.
I'm down.
And hopefully we can have you, Joy-Con, Lau,
Yeah.
maybe.
Alonzo, definitely invite, please.
Yes.
We have to get a new set of faces.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm down. Just tell me, let me know, and then thank you guys for having me. And I
Thank you for
appreciate it.
joining us.
Thank you for joining us, man. Greatly appreciate you.
And also thank you
Have
guys
fun.
for watching us.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for, thanks to everybody in the chat for following, subscribing, and, just, tuning into the experience. Greatly appreciate y'all. And yes, we do accept applications for people who want to be guests on the podcast. So Frame One Nut, you going to be one come April. I'll let you know.
Oh, hell yeah, Nova.
Unova, definitely you too as well. So other than that, y'all, this has been episode 93 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. We are signing out.
Peace.